Come and unlock your power. SME. Grow your business hour by hour.
There, my name is Ian Genius with an Ian Genius alternative to selling. So most businesses aren't getting the success they deserve. They've got a fantastic service, they may even have a fantastic team, but typically they're not having enough conversations, or too many are fizzling out. In reality, most businesses have both problems. They're not having enough conversations and too many are fizzling out. And the problem in both cases is that clients don't fully appreciate the value of your service. So they focus on what they do understand, which is price. So instead of going to you, they go to a cheaper but inferior competition. They do it themselves badly, or they do nothing at all. Or maybe they do come on board but take less than's recommended, go for your cheapest package, or take 6 months to make the decision. In this presentation today, I'm going to show you how to solve these problems. You've got an amazing service, but it doesn't matter. Before clients can use you, first they must choose you. And at the moment, clients aren't making the best decisions. So, without further ado, when you say it, do they get it? So, everyone that's watching this presentation today, either live or on record, will be well aware that there's no point being here if you haven't got a real burning desire to do even better. And I'm guessing you're all here because you've got a huge amount of desire to do a lot better than you're currently doing. And that doesn't mean to say you're doing badly now, you just love to do even better than that. So does anyone here want to close more deals? Close deals in less time, upsell their premium service more often, confidently charge more money, just charge what they're worth. They all sound good, right? What if you could do all? What if you could close more deals in less time? Clients took more of what you recommended, they went for the better services, and you would have charged more money. All of it's very possible without uncomfortable selling techniques. So, how much difference would it really make anyway if you made some small changes? Let's imagine you had 10 conversations in a month with potential clients, and at the moment 5 said yes, therefore 5 said no. Whether they said no or not, they didn't convert. 10 conversations, 5 yeses, 5 nos. And let's say you turned one of those 5 nos into a yes, you'd gain a client every month. 1 client a month, over 12 months, 1 times 12 is 12, you'd end up with 12 extra spending clients a year. Just to use some easy numbers, let's just say your client was worth £500, 12 clients at £500 is £6,000. Let's make the numbers even easier, but let's imagine a client to you was worth £1,000, 12 clients at £1,000, you'd make £12,000 just by turning one of the 5 no's into a yes. That's how much impact it can make. So the key topics today: why do clients or customers ghost you? Why is selling not the answer? What you should avoid saying in every meeting, and why making your message 6-year-old simple is absolutely crucial. So, if you have a problem, you can find a solution and you'll make progress. Problem, solution, progress. Let's just give you an example. Your boiler's not working, there's the problem. The engineer comes out, that's the solution. Now you've made progress, you've got your central heating on again. Problem, solution, progress. You don't need to know what the solution is, but a solution exists. Let's take the scenario again. This time, you've got no problem. At first glance, that seems pretty good. I've got no problem in. Brilliant. Can you solve no problems? Can you provide a solution to nothing? No, doesn't exist. So no problem also comes with no solution. Let me change that round. I didn't mean to swear at you, Sally. No problem, no solution, stay the same. Problem, solution, progress, no problem, no solution, stay the same. But we've already established that you're here because you do want to progress. More clients taking more services for more money. That's progress. You want progress. Progress comes from problems. Problems are good. Let's change it around. 2 problems I can't solve though. If you tell me that every conversation you're already having turns into a client, every client takes everything you recommend, and you charge an infinite amount of money, there's no way of improving it. One of two things is happening. Either you're completely delusional and you need sectioning, or you're a pathological liar like Paniccio. But I can't help with those two problems. Why do I care so much about problems? In 95 to 98 I did a degree in maths. I'm not quite as stupid as I appear. Dangerously close, you might say. I love problem solving. In 1998 to 2018, I was the salesman that hated selling. I helped businesses grow well over £40 million, but I don't like selling approaches. I find them sleazy, dishonest, greedy. I wasn't confident selling myself. I was uncomfortable bringing up my price. I hate being sold to, and I don't like selling. So that's a bit of a mess, isn't it? So I've spent 26 years finding ways to remove selling from sales. So we know it went problem, solution, progress. Let's reverse that back. To get progress, we need a solution. To get a solution, we need a problem. To make lots of progress, we need lots of solutions. Therefore, we need lots of problems. Before you can clean the house, first you have to see the dirt. Thanks for Naomi for sending it in. I suddenly had a bit of a problem this morning. I said my computer's gone down, I can't get the picture up of my lounge, and she very kindly sent her own in, so thanks for that, Naomi. So what do I mean? Let's say you had 10 conversations and 5 said yes. All 5 out of 10 said yes. The problem is 5 out of 10 said no. Let's say you converted 7 out of 10. But only 2 of the 7 took what you wanted. The problem is the 5 that didn't. Don't tell me what you're doing. Don't think about what you're doing. Think about what you're not doing. Go looking for problems. So what is the problem? The current situation is most businesses aren't getting the success they deserve because they're not having enough conversations and too many fizzle out. It sits on the rule, before clients can use you, first they must choose you. But unfortunately, conversations are fizzling out. It might not even be conversations. It might also be networking rooms that just fall flat. Referrals aren't getting as good. But typically, conversations are fizzling out. Typically, for most people, if they have 10 conversations, 8 out of 10 end with a no. Now, you'll say to me, my conversations don't end with a no. They say it's not for us. That's a no. It's not for us right now. And you think maybe in a day, a week, a month, a year, it'll be right for them, but it never is. Gives you a bit of hope. That's also a no. We're going to use you in March. Brilliant. But it'll be April soon and they won't have used you. No, they're not. Can you send me an email? They're going to waste your time. That's still going to be a no. I'm going to have a little think about it. If you took 100, I'll have a think about it. And how many turned into a client? You'll be lucky if it's 1. That's also a no. They're going to ghost you. So clients don't appreciate the value of your service. So in the absence of value, they focus on the one thing they do understand, which is price. So they instead of going to you, they go to a cheaper competitor. They do it themselves badly and waste their own time. They completely ignore the problem only to later regret doing nothing. If you had 10 conversations, 8 say, I'll have a think, that's where the other 8 are going. You're cheaper but inferior competition, doing it themselves badly and wasting their time. Doing nothing and hoping the problem vanishes, but the problem gets worse. Why would anyone pick these 3 god-awful options? Because they're cheaper than you, and they're only seeing price because they don't see value. But Ian, it's only the odd conversation that fizzles out, is it? Let's have a quick look. These are just some realistic numbers. Let's imagine you have 10 potential client conversations in a month. 3 say yes. You know I've got a degree in maths, so I reckon 10 minus 3 leaves 7. Therefore 7 don't. That's 7 no's a month. 7 that don't convert per month. 7 every month times 12 months. 7 times 12 is 84. Get your calculators out if you don't believe me. 84 clients you've missed out on in a year. If the service was 500 quid, there's 42,000. If it was 84 clients at £1,000, it's £84,000. It doesn't have to be 500 or £1,000. You can just see that with easy numbers. You're not going to like the answer a great deal. If you want to go and try this out yourself, go to my website, iangenius.co.uk, or click on the link in the PDF. Free yearly loss calculator, 3 quick questions. How many conversations do you have in a week? Typically out of 10, how many say no? And what do you charge? Within seconds it will show you how much you're leaving behind. So, why have I done this? Because if you think it's the odd conversation that's fizzling out, you'll do very little or nothing about it. Noticing a problem isn't big enough. If you've ever had pins and needles, did you get in the car, drive to accident and emergency, 160 miles an hour, smash through the bollards, kick down the front door, kick everyone out the way, shout and scream, "Get me the highest paid doctor now, I've got pins and needles"? No. If your arm fell off, your wife's arm, your daughter's arm, your best friend's arm had been severed off, would you be far more inclined to go shouting and screaming, "Please God, get me a doctor now"? Your arm falling off a little versus a prick on a finger or pins and needles, they're both problems. It's the severity of the problem, the size of the problem. Until you realise how much money you're leaving on the table, you won't do anything about it. It's only the odd conversation that doesn't convert. Firstly, I don't believe you and you won't like the answer. And the same thing is true of your clients. First, they've got to have a problem, but is the problem bad enough to solve? If they think it's a mild inconvenience, don't be surprised when they're not interested in your solution. The size of the problem is important. So what's the solution then? Well, it's easy, isn't it? Get better at selling. I'm not getting the sales I want. Get better at selling is the solution. The only problem is most people love buying but hate being sold to. We don't like being persuaded, convinced, manipulated in horrible closing techniques. Shall we take it to the till then? No, sod off. Which one do you want, the blue one or the green one? I didn't want either of them. So if you love buying and hate being sold to, why would you want to get better at selling when you know it doesn't work and you despise it? It doesn't make sense. But what if you could make your service so easy to buy that you didn't need to get better at selling? Has anyone here read Pete and Bernie's Philosophical Steakhouse by the poet McTeagle? No? Has anyone read his follow-up book, The Futility of Mortality, again by McTeagle? No, let me explain. So what McTeagle's poetry is doing is rejecting the common cliches of modern pottery. He suggests we're leaving a chocolate proboscis only to enter a hinterland of negation, and that contemporaneity is the synchronicity between time and culture. I hope that makes sense. You see, McTeagle was diagnosed with Preston Didwick's congenia and was put on a course of thiabisalin, which is a bisterbile cranabolic amphetamide, a beta-contained trip nutrient. You might know it better as a dimesmeric Anderson phosphate. I hope that makes sense. I'm getting some weird looks. I must apologise for my peculiar vernacular. It's just that Mater described me as a sophistical rhetorician inebriated with the exuberance of my own verbosity. I hope that makes sense. I hope that makes sense. And of course it doesn't make any sense because it's utter nonsense. Before clients can use you, first they must choose you, and they don't know what you're talking about. Clients struggle to make the best choices because they don't understand the value. You're an expert in your world. That's why you can help people, but you're speaking to beginners. You're not on the same plane. They don't understand. They don't realise there is a problem. They don't accept they have the problem. Has anyone ever here tried to help an alcoholic that's not willing to admit he's an alcoholic? No. If they don't think they've got a problem, why would they care about your solution? They don't realise there's a problem. They don't accept they've got a problem. They don't realise how big their problem is. They don't think their problem will get worse. They think they can tackle it themselves. They don't understand. What is simple to you, the expert, is complex to them, the client. And confusion kills sales. Confusion stops decisions, and people who can't decide don't buy. The more you try to impress clients with your background and your knowledge and your experience and your words and your language, and the more you impress them with that, the less they understand. They're at the other end of the spectrum. Clients don't want to be impressed, they want to understand. And it's not just the language and the jargon. Maybe you use some tables. Maybe you use some graphs and charts. and no one understands. Again, I've got a degree in mathematics. I'm not claiming to be the greatest mathematician of all times, but I can sit down with people in finance, financial advisors, mortgage advisors. I have no idea what their tables and charts are trying to show me. I'm completely confused. They say, does that make sense? What am I going to say? No, I'm thick. So I go, yeah, that really helps, thanks. I'd rather say that. It's confusing. It's not just the language, it's everything. They don't understand. They're beginners in your world. And you can't remember what it's like to be a beginner. That's why no matter how simple you think you're making it, it's not simple enough. This is where I help because I'm not an expert in your world. They don't understand. They don't understand. They don't understand. But we check understanding, don't we? You're going to tell me you check understanding. You say, does that make sense? Do you understand? Is that clear? I hope that makes sense. Does that make sense? Doesn't make any sense. The only answer to does that make sense is yes, because the other answer is no, I'm thick, and people don't want to admit stupidity. There'll be one or two of you that says, I would ask it, yeah, and then they come back, they make it easy for a second, and then a couple of seconds later it's gone back to crazy, and then they say, does that make sense a second time? And you go, yeah. And it doesn't matter whether you would say it. It's whether your audience would say it. If you spoke to 10 people, maybe 3 would say it doesn't make sense, but it's the other 7. Remember, we're looking for problems. Does that make sense? Doesn't make any sense. And don't worry about the actual words. It can be any of these words and a lot more. If you're having to check understanding, you already know it doesn't make sense. So why ask the question? Does that make sense? Doesn't make any sense. I'm going to show you how to solve it. Who here loves algebra? Woo, 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 woo. No one. Boo hiss, you lot. Boo hiss. Let's have a look at this problem. 3x squared plus 3x squared equals, it could be 9x to the power of 4, 9x squared, 6x to the power of 4, 6x squared, 81x, 180, or I don't know. 3x squared plus 3x squared, maybe you know the answer, maybe you don't, doesn't really matter. Is there anyone that's brave enough to say I don't know? Jill's saying I don't know. There's a few of you saying I don't know. That's amazing. So, there's a few people thinking I don't know. But what if the problem was much easier? Would it be okay if I just showed you how to solve this problem using ridiculously easy numbers and extremely simple examples? It makes it a lot easier for me to explain. Yeah? Okay, good. 3 plus 3 equals 6. 3 bananas plus 3 bananas. We add 3 and 3 to get 6. It's 6 bananas. Some people go 3 bananas plus 3 bananas equals 6. And suddenly the bananas have vanished. No, it's 3 bananas plus 3 bananas is 6 bananas. They haven't turned into carrots. It's still bananas. The numbers add, the word repeats. Do it with dogs. 3 dogs plus 3 dogs. 6. Repeat the word, dogs. I'm not very good at spelling, so I've tried to pick a complicated word, but I can't spell it. I've had a couple of goes. 3 xylophones plus 3 xylophones. See, I've had a couple of goes, haven't I? But we add the numbers together, 6. And it's xylophones. I had another stab at it. I'm still not right. 6 xylophones. It doesn't matter how complicated the word is. It's 3 and 3 is 6 and repeat the sound. I could make one up. 3 diddly-doos plus 3 diddly-doos is 6 diddly-doos. Taking that into account, we add the numbers, repeat the sound. 3x squared plus 3x squared, 6x squared. It's simple. You could solve it now, but you couldn't solve it in the beginning. Why? Because the problem became 6-year-old simple. 4x squared plus 4x squared, 8x squared. 5y squared plus 5y squared, 10y squared. It's easy peasy. The problem became 6-year-old simple. All we did, you got to a problem that you couldn't get past, a step you couldn't get past, and we broke that step into lots of smaller steps that you could get past. And if you kept making each step smaller and smaller and smaller, you'd eventually end up with a slope, and everyone from a baby to a person in a wheelchair to an old person could get up here. We're making the problem easier and easier. So why making your message 6-year-old simple is key. If you could make your message 6-year-old simple, would you ever need to ask the question, does that make sense? If you could make your message so simple a 6-year-old could see, would you ever need to? No. But Ian, you'll insult them, won't you? Really? Do you remember I said, would it be okay if I showed you how to solve this problem using ridiculously easy numbers and extremely simple examples? It makes it a lot easier for me to explain. Where have I pinned the stupidity? To me, not to you. It makes it a lot easier for me to explain. I know it, but I want you to understand it. But I'm putting the stupidity to me, and you'll go, yeah, that's great. Make it as easy as you like. You're not going to say, Ian, I want to struggle, are you? So here are the takeaways. Why do clients ghost you? Because they don't understand. People who don't understand can't decide. Undecided people don't buy. Why is selling not the answer? Because the problem is they don't understand. The real problem is they don't understand your value. The solution to understanding value isn't getting better at selling. It's help them understand the value. And you don't like selling? What should you avoid saying in every meeting? Does that make sense, or any of its variants? Because does that make sense doesn't make any sense. And why is making your message 6-year-old simple key? Because once it's 6-year-old simple, you never need to check understanding. All you want them to do is make a good choice and make the choice easier. Ask permission, put the stupid on you. Would it be okay if I made it simple? It makes it a lot easier for me to explain. So, you can now use the QR code to download go to my site. There's loads of freebies on there. There's also on the PDF, or you can go on that QR, the 5 things you never considered to improve your sales. And there's also Iggy's perfect pitch. If anyone wants a little bit of help, just reach out to me on LinkedIn. I'll quite happily spend 20 minutes with you one-on-one, just looking at anyone's particular problems and see if I can help out. I know ideas are great, but you want to apply them to your own world, so just reach out to me and I'll send you a 20-minute link. I've got a couple of questions, so let's see what I've got for questions. Let's have a go. Right, here we got a question from Justine. If you had a database of 8 people that said no, how do you reignite that conversation? So the problem is at the moment they don't see the value, but it goes problem, solution, progress. So there's no point selling them a solution when they haven't got a problem. So can you find a way to reignite the problem? Hi Terry, I don't know if you've seen this. I've noticed this with a lot of clients at the moment. They're really struggling with X, Y, and Z. When they do X, A, B, and C happens. When they do Y, this is happening. I don't know if you've seen it. If any of these things are happening, let's have a chat. You're not selling anything. You're selling a problem, if anything. So the best way to reignite something is probably sell them a problem. If they haven't got a problem, your solution solves nothing. To be fair, a lot of people say, Ian, do you do objection handling? The problem with objection handling is you prove you're right and you prove them wrong, and it's a fight. And what you're trying to do is help people make good choices. So as soon as you are overcoming an objection, you're in a fight scenario. It goes against helping people. Let's have another question. We've got one from Pete. Pete has so many products that he offers, he struggles to focus on the issue that he solves. And I'm not saying that's not the case, Pete. But often, I don't know if you've got any grass at your house, but I could cut your grass with a laser beam, a pair of scissors, goat, magic spell. I could find 5 real and fictitious ways to cut your grass, but fundamentally, you've got one problem. Your grass needs cutting. It's overgrown and it looks a mess. So maybe you offer lots of solutions, and that takes a long time to sell. But don't sell all the solutions, sell the problem. Remember, until they've got a problem, that's the first thing. First, they have to have a problem. Then is the problem worth solving? So again, you might tell me you solve 1,000 problems. So if that's the case, you remember Family Fortunes. They ask 100 people, what's the favourite drink? And 63 people say orange juice, and 24 people say milk, and so forth and so on. So if 100 people had a problem, tier it. What's the biggest problem 100 people have? Well, 70 of them would all have this. 20 have this. Well, there's 90 of your 100 people straight away. So prioritise the problems. There's no point telling about a problem that no one either has or cares about. So no one wants to hear 64 stories either. If there's 2 major problems that everyone has, tell those 2 problems, not all other 1,000. So hopefully that answers for you. But again, we can have a chat if you want to go into it one-on-one. What have we else got? I'm sure we've got another quick question. Wendy, I sell skincare. How do I create a problem for customers without insulting them? you just talk about, I mean, you just have to be honest. So a lot of, I don't know if any of this resonates with you, but a lot of clients at this time of year often struggle with rashes. It can be quite itchy. It can take quite a long time to heal. It can make wearing clothes. I don't know the world of skincare. Sell me the problem. Recently, I've been working with a lot of clients that have been really struggling with rashes, and it's been really prohibitive, and they don't want to go outside. Again, I don't know if any of that resonates with you. I'm not saying it's your problem. I'm just saying these are problems I solve. Do you have it? Actually, yeah, I have got that. People come to me, they've typically got one of three problems. Either they're getting ghosted, clients are taking 6 months to come on board, or even when they do come on board, they take less than's recommended. I don't know if any of those apply in your world. Now, if you say no, I know you're lying, but that's fine. It's your choice. You go, actually, to be fair, my frustration is I'm getting ghosted. Oh, cool. We move on. So tell me what these problems look like. Again, there'll be a big problem that's all the time, then it'll go down in tears. So what are the problems that you solve? Give examples. So I think that's about it. How are we doing for time? 24 minutes. So again, you've got a free ebook. The Iggy's Perfect Pitch is normally £15. I've made that free as well for Naomi and her group. If you've got any questions, you can either send me a message on LinkedIn. If you can't find Ian Genius, something's seriously gone awry. And if you send me a message to say that you're watching the presentation through Naomi, I can send you a 20-minute link. We can meet up and I can try and help however I can. So thanks very much for your time. My name's Ian Genius with an Ian Genius alternative to selling.
SME, unleash. Come and unlock your power. SME, unleash. Grow your business hour by hour. Talk it out, build it up, believe it. This is SME Unleashed. This is SME Unleashed.